Alrighty, let's crack on with it. Good morning, everyone. Hope we're doing okay. Just coming into interesting level here at 68.40. But we're in a little bit of a tricky spot, I'd say, on the larger time frame, right kind of back in the middle of the range here. And not only that, we've come up and kind of tagged range resistance in the overnight. I mean, would have liked to have seen it maybe push above 6,900 a little bit more, but we've definitely kind of gone back up there and failed. So, with the immediate range being kind of 68.13 to 69.04, you just about tag that supply zone and selling off from there. But we did put in a nice overnight low here at 68.41, which is right where we are at this moment. So you can see I've kind of drawn the danger zone on there, just prepping, trying to open up my execution platform on the other side. You watching this 68.41, Mike?
Yep, I'm watching.
Yeah.
It's just the only kind of cautionary tale to me here is the fact that it's been a slower sell into it, a little bit of a choppier sell. So just a little wary. Doesn't mean it can't trigger, but just gonna give it the space it needs before doing anything.
Yeah, I'm just measuring that. So it's about 40 points sell off from 68.80 down to where we are now, and it's taken about an hour and 45 minutes. So, yeah, you're talking gradient terms. You guys know I like to use the gradient to gauge the speed of the sell, but that's about a 0.4 gradient, which is, yeah, pretty slow. But we are in the pre-market here, so let's see if we can get some acceleration as we come towards the open. But yeah, it's been a bit of a complex session overnight. There was some potential reclaims up here, but we've just had a bunch of stacked levels around the 61, 66, and 69, and it was trying to get above 69 overnight and never could, and at least not until like the London session. So I was kind of watching it during this period, and the danger zones of each of these levels kind of kept you safe last night. Scalper's paradise, maybe, but yeah, if you're following Adam's system, I don't think there are any entries that triggered in there. But you can see now that 66/69 kind of zone is pretty major support and resistance zone. So yeah, if we can reclaim that later on, that will be a good win for bulls. But before that, obviously, we've got to see what's going to happen here. We've just put in a micro flush down a couple of points. So standard procedure here is, if first thing to watch for with the micro flush is the non-acceptance protocol. So be looking for it to hold 5 points above the level, and then push up with some momentum. What we don't want to see is it just like poke up and then fade back into it. And then if that does fade, maybe perhaps we get a deeper flush, hold down at this 68, 69. This is one of those direct bid levels that Adam had from the newsletter, not something that I'll be engaging in from a direct bid standpoint, but just an interesting level. If that holds and then we can push up, then we've put in a decent 10, 12 point flush there, and kind of a bit easier to gauge acceptance. Hopefully we would get some clear type 1 acceptance. So those are kind of the first two options around this level, I would say. And then beneath that, 68.13 and 67.73 is the prior day low. We've also got 67.95, which was kind of an intermediate low. So really, just for me, I'll just be looking for a reaction there. And by that, I mean, will it hold the level and then push up, and maybe I look for a reclaim of 68.13, or is it going to flush and recover it? So that's kind of the trade plan for today. Those are my thoughts. What else do you want to go over, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, watching the same stuff essentially, the 68.40 here, if not the 68.13. I'm a little surprised he didn't end up mentioning that there's also a little bit of a structure just above at 68.17.
Yeah.
So just I know that wasn't something that was mentioned in the newsletter, but that is just something, just from my own read, I'm just kind of making sure that you probably want to see both of those two lows clear before trying anything. So just be careful on that. I mean, the danger zone anyways would take you out of that 68.17 low, so you'd be okay. And then yeah, below that the 73.74 spot would be good. So I mean, so far movement's been a little slow on the session. So just remember, I kind of like to think of Adam's old adage he uses quite a bit lately, which has been if price is moving slow, then so am I. So if price is going to move at a pretty slower pace, then you have no need to really move too fast to enter anything. So yeah, just be careful about entering anything in too fast today if price is going to be as slow as it is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryce has just pointed out the same thing in the chat. So watching the regular trading hours low here at 68.18 ish. But like I say, apply danger zone to 68.13, and that puts you a little bit above that. Um, okay, great. Well, yeah, like you say, a little bit slow at the moment. Let's see if we can get some acceleration. A little bit different. We haven't had the big kind of sell-off like we've been getting in the evening sessions lately. Just a little bit sideways. I guess Asia got tired of having their shorts
It
destroyed in
was
the Friday session.
it was looking like it at first at some time last night around like 9:30. I was like, oh, looks like we might be going back to the same regime, but it seems like overnight they were able to kind of hold within this range here.
Yeah. And there was a little bit of a trade right off the open, wasn't there, last night? I didn't catch it, but we had this kind of midday low, swept it right at the close, and then popped back above 76. I know a bunch of folks caught that one, but
Yeah,
obviously,
I did take that actually myself. Took it around like 4:45 just before the close, so it just ended up being a really small trade for me. Just took it very small sized. But I did like the fact that we were holding above the danger zone there for like an extended period of time. I think I might have even given it like 10-15 minutes at that point because it wasn't something I initially was trying to take. But then just based off how much we were holding it, I ended up feeling like it was a okay thing to do. Oftentimes you guys will probably hear me say all the time, like I don't want to necessarily trade. I want price to show me something so good that it's kind of like it almost forces my hand to be like, well, I should engage in this. So that one was a good example of like, it wasn't something I was like feeling too great about initially, but after we held the danger zone for like, 10-15 minutes quite well, I was like, okay, I think this is worth a small stab at it.
nice. Did you actually get in during the after hours then?
Yeah, I got in at 4:45.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's always something interesting to me. Adam has no qualms about entering during that time period. And also, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? 5 minutes before the open, wasn't
Yeah.
phased by it whatsoever. Um, this is kind of the sheet I keep where I post the trade recaps for the week. Um, which anyway, I can't. I'll go back and take a look at that later. But yeah, I think he had one at 8:25, either yesterday or the day before, and then likewise a few days before that. Not phased at all. Just looking at the structure, the level, and the setup. Okay, well, not much happening right now. I did just throw up that kind of scary flush indicator on my chart, and you can kind of see, where it's triggering those sharp rates of descent. And as you can see, so it highlights the bars red when it does that. It's not none of this sell-off from the morning so far is triggering any of that. Just to illustrate that, this is so far just a slow, methodical sell, not really what we're looking for from a failed breakdown perspective. So just another little extra caution there. So
Yeah, like to me, just to give you guys some insight on just like kind of what I'm going to be watching here over the next few minutes is because it's so slow. I would personally, and it's a pretty shallow sweep. I would just need to see some really big momentum here, out of the danger zone and hold. Like there's just nothing else to me that I would eye here in terms of an entry. I would need to basically see a really strong push out of the danger zone, hold it for a couple of minutes, and then get long. But just based off what's happening right now, just to me, why would you be uncomfortable as a short?
right, yeah. Yeah, they're looking pretty coming off the highs, coming off the range resistance up here, the supply zone. So yeah, probably not going to be sweating unless we get back above the 66. Okay, well with that, so anyway, yeah, someone's just asking that indicator's called Scary Flashes in Trading View. You can go and download it. And mess around with the code. If anyone could figure out how to get that to alert, let me know. I'd be interested. Like I say, I think I mentioned that yesterday, and I could got into an argument with Claude and could never figure it out. Anyway, with that, we'll catch you guys in the Discord. Be safe out there. Let's wait for volatility. Catch you later. Bye. Alright, I'm just gonna post this. How do we get the name of it? I've still got the stream up. I'm just going to post the name of that. Someone was asking. Guess you can't. Alrighty, that is that.